When I was a wee lad, I only knew 3 truths that were my whole world. Pizza sufficed for at least 3 of the 5 major food groups. My parents loved each other very much and would never get a divorce. And Spider-Man was the coolest gosh darn thing on planet Earth. While that may have turned out to be 2 truths and a lie, my love for both pizza and Spider-Man would continue throughout my whole life as 2 of the most important things that make me who I am today. And imagine my shock when Tobey Peter Maguire Parker had to deliver a pizza at the start of Sam Raimi's box office classic, Spider-Man 2.
Pizza time.
Truly, this is when 6-year-old me knew that I was right in the truths that I have come to know, and my parents hadn't even got divorced yet, so it was a pretty good next 4 years. Yeah, see, being the target demographic for a character like Spider-Man was pretty awesome during the early 2000s because there was absolutely no shortage of spider media to spider consume like the spider boy I was. Movies, TV shows, toys, pajamas, bed sheets, cans of chicken noodle soup. This is the spider chicken noodle soup for the spider soul. And the thing is that a lot of us suburban white kids grew up loving Spoderdober because our parents just kind of assumed that's the kind of thing little boys like. My dad was no different when he was a boy. He was a Batman kid. That's not to say he was an orphan. His parents were very much alive, but he liked Bruce Man a lot growing up. So my dad, who was not contemplating his relationship with my mother for any reason, looked at a video game with said webhead on the box art, remember how much he enjoyed superhero media as a wee lad, and decided to buy it for his strapping young boy. This game right here, Spider-Man. Really cannot be any more clear as to what this game is. This is the game that influenced me to become a fan of the Webman. Now, I was pretty young when I first got this game, so I don't remember whether or not I knew about the itsy bitsy Spider-Man before playing this, but as far back as I can remember, this game is the center point as to why I love this character. But even when there are objectively much better spider games that better give the feel of the man, I still feel like this game is special. Mostly because of my own nostalgia for it, of course, let's not get crazy, but maybe there's a little bit more to it than just that. Hey, watch me turn into a 6-year-old again. Oh, thank God, I forgot what taxes are. So this game was released in the year 2000, meaning that we're right at the end of Spider-Man's edgy 90 phase before that one thing that happened. Shoot, they told me not to forget. So this game lied in an interesting spot. It wasn't associated with any specific piece of spider media, so it kind of acted like its own continuity, which left it open to do whatever it wanted with whatever characters they wanted and whatever tone they wanted. And they went a very comic book nature with its plot. Dr. Otto Octavius is giving a big speech about how science is cool when Spider-Man shows up and steals the device on stage that does something. However, Peter Parker's in the audience while this is all happening, meaning that spider person on stage is a spider phony. Peter Piper can't get out of the crowd to change into his costume, and Eddie Brock, Peter's longtime rival in the photography world, is snapping photos of the theft. But Faker Man breaks Eddie's camera. This upsets Eddie so much that his boyfriend Venom takes back over to go get revenge on Spider Parker. All the while, shadowy figures, gee I wonder who these are, turn on a citywide fog machine to justify not rendering the ground floor during gameplay. And then...
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here. Once again, we find our hero Peter Parker, better known around the world as the amazing Spider-Man, in a heap of trouble. But this is just the beginning, Spidey fans. So get ready for a true superhero action thriller, packed to the brim with thrills and chills, twists and turns, more supervillains than you can shake a web at, and of course, non-stop web-slinging, wall-crawling action.
Now, picture yourself as 6-year-old me. This is your first time encountering something spider-related. This really awesome cutscene with action, suspense, and sick guitar riffs you just saw gets topped off with one of the most enthusiastic narrations you've ever heard. It's like the game opened up your skull and laser cut Spider-Man's face directly onto your brain. And this is all before you start pushing buttons. The best part though is that once you do start pushing buttons, you'll find that Spider-Man the video game perfectly represents the character, not just through aesthetics. See, this game was developed by
Neversoft, which, wasn't that the first name for Viagra?
who were known at the time for developing the Tony Hawk series of games, which were highly praised due to the gameplay being so buttery smooth. So naturally, these guys know how to make a game that flows the better you get with the controls. So here in Spider-Man, you get an albeit simple series of punches and kicks that you can string together for specific attacks that aren't all that useful when you can just mash punch and get the same result. But you also get the ability to shoot web, which, I mean, is quite simple, but mix that triangle button with a direction and you'll be shooting web balls like this is Marvel 2 or something.
Web ball, web ball, web ball, web ball, web ball, web ball, web.
You can also do a web shield blast and even make web fists to deal extra damage. It's a pretty simple combat system with even simpler enemies that have little variety. They don't even mix and match them in the levels. But its simplicity is what I think helps the flow of the game. You got enough free movement to feel much quicker than your enemies, and you got enough variety to have a one-up on them when you get ganged up on. And of course, this wouldn't be a spider game if he didn't do the whole swinging a web of any size part of that Ramones song about him. Teenage lobotomy. The web swing in this game is incredibly simple. This was before Spider-Man 2, not the Spider-Man 2 to this game or the Spider-Man 2 that came out in 23, but Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, not the movie Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, but Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, the game, not the PC release of Sam Raimi. But for as simple as it is, the web swing still feels fun and it promotes a far more unique level structure than you normally get from an action game in this era. Mixed with Spoder's ability to climb walls with his sticky spider fingers, the level design is all about leaping from buildings, climbing walls and ceilings, and are way bigger than your garden variety corridors and warehouses. Until the latter half of the game is all corridors and warehouses. Not that I think having the whole game be city levels would have been a good idea, but Spider-Man is very much top-loaded with the good levels, and the back half are not nearly as exciting. That's not to say that they're bad. They do have some fun ideas, like the sewer levels having a series of challenges to go through, and the secret lab being this long hall of electrical floors and dumbass turrets. I actually kind of hate that part.
I'm getting the feeling somebody doesn't want me here.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get a drink.
But the first half of the game before you go to the sewers, I think, is a masterclass at giving you a character of all of his moves and let you go wild with it. Which, yeah, save for a few temporary power-ups, you have Spider-Man's whole kit right from the start. It's honestly kind of refreshing to go back to an old game that does this because you don't have to worry about stats or upgrades or whatever. You got what you got, and the only way to get better is to get better. And as a kid, beating this game, on kid mode I might add, I was indeed a child, felt like a monumental achievement, and I think that's one of the reasons why Spider-Man stuck with me so much. The later levels were hard for me as a kid, but because there wasn't anything I was missing, it gave me this feeling of needing to figure out how Spider-Man would get through it. And once I figured it out, it was just a matter of me throwing myself at it again and again and again until I finally beat it. Oh boy, here it comes, obligatory gamer mentions Dark Souls moment, but it really does feel like my first experience playing Dark Souls. Although my Dark Souls experience led to my adulthood realization of anything is possible as long as you put enough time and effort towards it, and my childhood Spider-Man PS1 experience led to my child realization of Spider-Man is so freaking cool for kicking Mysterio's ass.
You're the fool, Mysterio.
This game is chock full of boss battles that are all classic Spider-Man villains that are perfectly represented here. Granted, not all the boss battles are particularly challenging, but they are very cool.
Here's Johnny.
In particular, I really enjoyed the fights with Rhino, Mysterio, Carnage, and Venom a lot in this game. Actually, I just love Venom in general in this game. Can we talk about him for a second?
What a wuss.
So I don't know if this is normal, but like thinking about Venom, you think of Peter ripping off the suit like he does in the third Spider-Man movie and attaching to Eddie Brock, and you get this sort of tortured soul type character. But in this game,
Where'd Spider-Wuss go? Spider-Wuss! Come out and play!
and keep in mind, this was my introduction to the character. So for the longest time, I just assumed that this was how he always was. Which is kind of funny, since everybody thought the modern Venom movies portrayed the character in a very juxtaposed way to what we normally see him as in the comics or the TV shows. But to me, I'm just sitting here like, nah, that's pretty much what I expect from the character. And he's really cool in this game too, whereas Peter is normally the jokester while the villain gets pissed off at him over it. Venom is yucking it up while Peter is being all serious and pissed off at Venom for being the way he is.
Laying down on the job, Parker?
Where's my wife, you symbiote freak?
It's kind of cool having sort of a stalker type character in this game too. Sometimes Venom just pops up and smacks you and then runs away all tee. Wait, where was I again? Oh yeah, the boss battles. They're all cool, and they further how strong the characterization is in this game through both the writing and the voice acting. Reno Romano voiced Spider-Man in this game, and to me he's the perfect voice for a more experienced Spider-Man being able to pull off being goofy and serious while still being believable. Jennifer Hale voices the only two females in the game, and she's great as always. And Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. reprises his role as Doc Ock from the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon, and he is absolutely wonderful as this character.
A perfect world order. Those who cannot share my vision will be crushed by it.
And as for the rest of the cast, they are voiced by both D. Bradley Baker and Darren Norris, who just have so much range in their voice acting talent, it's crazy. And the fact that this was Gordy from Ned's Declassified the whole time messed me up when I found out.
Again, innocence falls prey to the evil of Spider-Man.
How I love
love you, how I love you.
But with how strong the characterization is, it makes these boss battles that much more fun because it really does feel like you're fighting a unique character that Spider-Man is familiar with. And for a kid who had little to no spider knowledge, it honestly made these characters stand out and become iconic for whenever I would see later iterations of them. And I think that's why every interpretation of a franchise is really important to make the new version of any established character memorable. Because in this scenario, these are now what the characters are to me. And if all of that wasn't enough, they are all accompanied by just the coolest soundtrack for a video game. So the best part of CD technology, I think, is the incorporation of more contemporary music stylings in video games. So given that Spider-Man was developed in the late 90s, we got this really cool mix of nu metal, grunge, and electronica, and it is still one of the most unique sounding soundtracks a Spider-Man game has ever had. It helps that literally every level has a unique track to it, and we got some bangers like the sewage power plant, the police chase, or Mysterio's theme, but for as amazing as those tracks are, a lot of the rest of the soundtrack are just short loops, which, I mean, I get it, making a ton of tracks would be hard, but man, stuff like this?
Come to Papa.
It's like, come on. But regardless, this soundtrack still sounds so freaking cool, man. Like, again, kid me, cool characters, fun gameplay, and a lot of challenge for a kid anyways. I don't think that game is that hard. Topped off with a sick as hell soundtrack, absolutely solidified the deal. This is such a 6 out of 10 game. Okay, I've been blowing this game long enough. Coming back to it now after 2.5 decades, it's fine. I can't say that this is worth playing unless you really like Spider-Man and retro games. It's a fun game, but is it better than later Spider-Man games? Maybe some, but not some of the better ones, that's for sure. But for me, this game is such a classic. It's what made me love the character, and it's kind of weird. Because this is what introduced me to the character, every time I encounter Spider-Man now, part of me still thinks back to this game and how it made me feel. It turns Spider-Man as a branding into something that makes me feel comfortable, kind of like a nostalgic food or smell. Even if I see Spider-Man in a new light or a different character donning the suit, I still get that feeling of familiarity, knowing even if this iteration sucks, it still is a character that I know and love. He's a character that just brings me back to being a kid, when the only things I knew were that pizza sufficed for at least 3 of the 5 major food groups, my parents loved each other very much and would never get a divorce, and Spider-Man was the coolest gosh darn thing on planet Earth. And at least I got 2 of them right, because pizza is still awesome and Spider-Man is still one of the coolest gosh darn things on this planet Earth. Next to me. I'm really cool. We should hang out. You would like me. No? Well, fine. Goodbye. Hey, thanks for watching my video. I don't know why you decided to watch a video about 2000 Spider-Man for the PlayStation 1, but that just means that you and I have something in common. So why don't you like and subscribe and comment, or don't. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know how to end videos.